This is Leprechaun Lunch.
Or find the videos or the tweets or learn about his career and his CV, and I think we see it.
It certainly looks like smoke and white smoke.
It looks as if it is.
All right, now to sports, where we have some big news coming from the Notre Dame football team.
The Irish has finally named a starting quarterback.
We now know Notre Dame has a starting quarterback. Football program announcing today that CJ Carr will be the starter.
Holy crap! This is Leprechaun Lunch, Sports Radio WSBT.
So, fun story. I almost completely forgot about this thing. Almost completely forgot about this thing. And it's kind of, like, given what I do around here, the fact that I almost forgot about this show, I'm pretty sure that takes a little something. I'm surprised at it, and yet I'm not surprised because look at who we're dealing with here. Come on. Welcome in. The season opener for us, for me, for Leprechaun Lunch. On the radio there. Sports Radio, WSBT. If you're streaming with us on the YouTube channel, go right ahead. We're there. So maybe if I'm nice, I might super comment or whatever, highlight the comment, whatever. So if you're nice, got some picks, and I've realized that as time has gone on that I've only gotten worse at picks, so this ought to be fun. But yeah, it's finally the season opener. Close enough, anyway. I feel as if it's still early because I'm not used to this being in August. Like even once we get to Sunday night, I'm like, it's still August. It does seem a little bit early, right? Like I'm not the only one thinking that. Maybe I am. I could be. And then there's another part of me that is just totally ready for football season. Just bring it on. I think that was mostly driven by like the last 2 months of Mets baseball. So, I feel ready to go, and at the same time, I feel as if I've false started or something. It's just such a weird feeling. I can't be the only one thinking though that week 0, August 23rd. Ugh. Fortunately, though, we've got week 1, like actual week 1, actual games. We've got those to get through, so we'll do that coming up towards the end of the program. But first, let's talk a little Irish football. Let's talk a little CJ Carr. Let's talk all the stuff that happened over the weekend and the season and the off season. Like we've been talking about, we were talking about CJ Carr and Kenny Minchey. I think since before last season ended, actually. I think, like, stop me if I'm wrong, but I think we've been talking about it that long. So we had all that buildup, all through camp even as well. And then we got to the end result, and we were just like, why did we build it all up like that? I'm not surprised that that CJ Carr ultimately wound up getting the job. I thought that he always was going to. I was a little surprised by it after reading like all the reports coming out of camp of, oh, this is Kenny Minchie's job to lose. Like that surprised me a little bit. Like after seeing all of that, seeing CJ Carr as QB1 is, still kind of like oh, Marcus, that's how you're going to do us, huh? Okay, sir. All right. Coach Freeman did elaborate on the decision-making process.
I hesitate saying this is why I made the decision, because what I don't want to do is look as like a positive for one guy and a negative for another. I think statistically is close to any quarterback competition I've ever been a part of. And I was looking for that to be the reason to make a decision, and it wasn't clear. They were both really, really good statistically. And I just had to make a difficult decision. And then I had to trust my gut a little bit. What I felt like we needed going into week one versus opponent, who will be able to handle that decision the right way. I think all those things played into my decision. But that's kind of it. That's a little bit of gray answer.
Just a little bit of a gray answer. A little bit gray. The time-honored tradition of a college football coach is saying something and yet not saying something. That I think is what I missed. So we got to CJ Carr as QB1. Ultimately, that's how he went. CJ, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it means everything. This is what you worked for your whole life, really. I was talking to my dad earlier. He talked about just when we were in the competition, he was saying if I would have told you as a middle schooler or high schooler that you'd be at the University of Notre Dame competing to be the starting quarterback here, you would have been, jumping up and down. And then actually being here and being able to win the job is amazing. I'm a competitor. I'm coming out ready to compete with my guys, and we're ready to go.
Did you notice as Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame were doing the summer tour on all, Today Show, Good Morning America, ESPN, all that. There was literally like a week and a half where it was just like, oh, he's on TV again. Oh, okay, there we are. Okay. Did you notice how they didn't take either one of the quarterbacks with them? That was by design. That was to kind of take the attention away from that quarterback battle. I guarantee you, though, Miami and everybody else on the schedule did not lose sight of it. Now, granted, we had some film on Kenny Minchie. We had some, blue gold game stuff, with both of them even. But not much to go off of here. So how do you prepare something like that? That's what I'm kind of wondering. At the same time, though, you do realize that experience does go a long way. That's going to be a big thing for us this year. All right. The last two seasons we've had two quarterbacks who came in through the portal and they had loads of experience. Loads of it. Their barrels runneth over with it. This is gonna be CJ Carr's first start in college. Redshirt freshman. Redshirt sophomore? I forget. Yeah, redshirt freshman. In class, he's a sophomore. On the field, redshirt freshman. Bing. So, yeah, it's still your first time out there, and it happens to every quarterback where there's going to be some mistake. There's going to be a little bit of a sputter in the engine. Heck, there was that sputter in the engine as far as the offense went last year, even with Riley Leonard, and the year before that was Sam Hartman. It's not like he's, dog crap or anything. Like, he was a consensus 4-star recruit. He was an All-American following his senior year of high school. He was an All-American Bowl participant. He's got talent. And he's got a hell of an offensive roster to help him out too. I mean, it goes without saying. I mean, Jeremiah Love, yeah, dark horse for the Heisman. I think he's going to move closer, to legitimate conversation as far as the Heisman goes as the season goes on. I'm expecting big things out of Jay Love. And of course, the other fist in the 1-2 punch, that is, Jadarian Price. He's got a hell of a running game on him. He's got a hell of an offensive line in front of him. Like last year, we were all wetting ourselves over how inexperienced this offensive line was. And there is still a little bit of that. But Anthony Knapp became a man last year. Basically just thrown into the fire. Billy Schroth, same thing. And then we get Ashton Craig back. I thought when he went down last year, I thought that was going to be the straw. There were a lot of times where I was thinking, this could be it. I don't think it actually happened until Riley Mills got hurt. I think that's when the dam burst. As far as being the most talented team, like, they got stretched really thin, especially offensive line. And they, still, you had Jeremiah Love have the year that he did last year. Just amazing. 13 straight games with a touchdown. Yeah, that's pretty good. With an offensive line that had 2 quarters worth of experience at the beginning of the year. Not bad. He's got that. They hit the jackpot, I think, as far as the receivers go in the portal. I think this is. I mean, no offense to Bo Collins last year, he was great too, and I'm happy that he's going to do some great things. I think with the New York Giants, made that roster as an undrafted free agent. By the way, hi Bo. Still a Giants fan too, by the way. I need this team to be good. I need this team to be good because the pro one ain't gonna be. But Malachi Fields coming in from Virginia. 2025 Phil Steele preseason All-America, 4th team still. Okay, sure, but still 129 career receptions. 1,849 yards, 11 touchdowns. He's on the Biletnikoff award watch list. He averages 14.3 yards per catch. That's at least a first down every time he touches the ball. So that's always good. Put him with Jaden Greathouse, who really turned into what we thought Jaden Greathouse was going to be during the playoff. He was fantastic in the play, like all through the playoff. He was fantastic. He came up with all the big plays at all the right times. Huge. Like that month of practice between the SC game and the IU game. Whatever happened to Jaden Greathouse there? Yeah, love it. First player since Javon McKinley in 2020 to have consecutive games with 100-plus receiving yards. And he only did that in, the Orange Bowl and the national championship game. And you got Will Pauling there, a captain, transfer coming in as a at wide receiver. If anything, that's a hell of a leader for the offense. That's a good guy for CJ to have, just as like, hey, you're fine, you're good, you're all right. You got Faison in there too. Faison's back from injury. Faison's an athlete. He's a stud. He's gonna get his touches. He's gonna have his ridiculous runs after catch, picking up ridiculous yardage that way. He's so fun to watch. I think really the only question mark is quarterback, and how much of a leash do you give? How much of a leash do you give CJ Carr? Like I don't think it needs to be, too short of a leash. Like I think that's a bad idea. Like if they start doing that 2 quarterback system thing, where it's like, CJ comes in on pass plays and Kenny comes in on run plays or something like that, that's not going to help either one of them as quarterbacks. So stick with CJ Carr, unless the bottom falls out. Like if all of a sudden we're down 21-0 and, it's all like 3 interceptions or 2 interceptions and, CJ fumbles the ball or something like that. Okay, I get it then. All right. We don't need to send him back out to the Wolves for that. Maybe we do see what Kenny does at that point, But I mean, you gotta let him go play. Mistakes are going to be good. I mean, hell, it's the first game of the season. Mistakes are going to be there anyway. It's not going to be a well-oiled machine right out the gate. It never is. So, need to reel. I think college football fans in general need to reel that one in too, just for all their teams. What do you mean it's a 4 and out? 3 and out. What do you mean? Dude, it's the first drive of the season. It's okay. It's all right. All right. I hope CJ's made friends with Eli Raridan. I'm hoping there. I'm hoping that there's a connection there. I forgot how big that dude is. Like, it's like there's a moose at tight end. just 6'7", 252. That is a moose, okay? Competed in all 16 games last year. Okay, all right. Pulled in a pair of touchdown receptions on the season. Did that against Stanford and SC. He's going to be. I think he's a mismatch for a lot of what Miami has as far as the defense goes. I think he bowls over their linebackers because I think he's bigger than all those guys. And forget about defensive backs. Like he'll just eat those guys for lunch. I think Eli Raridan's a huge part of not tomorrow, Sunday's game plan. Why did they have to have this game on Sunday? Oh, right, ABC. That's right. So yeah, I am cautiously optimistic, but the caution is maybe at like 30% for me. If things go haywire from the jump, it'll be a long 2 weeks. But my pick as far as the game, that's coming up during the last segment of the show. I think you'll be happy with it. And, spoiler alert or anything like that. Yeah. I think you'll be happy with it. Take a look at the defense coming up. Because hell, there's names we know, but we didn't get to see last year, or at least too much of them. Names that we've heard for a while now, and it's like they all got hurt at the same time, or just like one right after the other. That was the big that. Like I said, like there was unbelievable depth as far as defense went, but I think once the injuries got down to Riley Mills, I think that's where the dam broke, and that's what Marcus Freeman likes to call delayed the national championship. We'll talk about the defense coming up here. Leprechaun Lunch, Sports Radio, WSBT. Sports Radio WSBT. Streaming, of course, WSBTradio.com. On YouTube right now as well, at Sports Radio WSBT. There's a theme there. Before we get into the defense, I've realized that I'm starting to get older. Because, I was just over at campus before coming over to the station here to do this little harlequin. And I'm standing outside someplace, standing outside of a bar. All right. I was having a business meeting, as it were. And kid comes up, asked me, hey, do you guys happen to have my ID? I was playing pool last night, and maybe you guys saw it or something. I'm like, I don't work here. Oh, he did get it back, by the way. But it's like I've gone from being the guy who people thought was bringing in a fake ID to being the guy that people who, when I was allegedly bringing in the fake ID, at that age, the people at that age now think could be like the guy behind the bar. So I'm playing with that in my head right now. That's a good time. That's a real good time. So defense. It's almost gonna be like a welcome back type thing. Like how do you get all those guys time on the field? Jordan Botelho. By the way, Jordan Botelho being available for this game is either some sort of modern miracle of medicine for him healing, or he's just insane. Yeah, just insane. If we're gonna go with insane, he's playing with an insane amount of pain. Really, it's a torn pec. Those things hurt, man. Bruce is cool, though. I will say that. Jordan Botelho, top 20 all-time in career games, 50 appearances so far, and I imagine, he, especially right now, you're going to have to tranquilize him to keep him off the field. Just hardcore, full stop, just like horse tranquilizer. So Jordan's back. That's good. That's a good thing. Boubacar Traore. I'm happy he's back just because I like saying Boubacar. But we only got like a little glimpse of him last year, because it was like he came in and raised hell, still led all FBS freshman players in sacks. Still, he missed 2/3 of the season. 3 sacks, though, in 5 games, a forced fumble, and then blew out the knee. So it's going to be good to see him. I think he's going to be just a wrecking ball. He's the guy that I'm constantly going to be watching. Donovan Heinisch, he's a captain this year. 35 tackles, 4.5 total tackles for loss, all of which were sacks. That's some pretty good leadership right there. I think he's a captain. Deserves to be a captain. His brother was. Drake Bowen is, I think, where Jeremiah Love is going to bring home a lot of hardware on the offensive side of the ball, Drake Bowen is going to be that guy on the defensive side of the ball. The Bednarik Award watch list, the Nagurski Trophy watch list, the Butkus Award watch list. And his play speaks for itself. You know what you're getting with Drake Bowen. And at the same time, I almost feel like I just insulted Leonard Moore by saying that. Because here's the resume. Freshman Defensive Player of the Year, Freshman Cornerback of the Year by College Football Network, the Football Writers Association of America, by the way, Freshman Defensive Player of the Year. Preseason All-America First Team by Walter Camp, Sporting News, the AP, The Athletic, ESPN, CBS Sports, Athlon Sports, and Phil Steele. Also on the watch list for the Nagurski Trophy, the Bednarik Award, and the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award. I think I'm gonna knock on wood when I say that. Okay. I think the I don't think we're gonna get the kind of repeat performance where you had Benjamin Morrison go down, with that injury last year, and that's how we got to know Leonard Moore. I don't think we're going to have that this year. I think Leonard Moore may be a better cornerback than Benjamin Morrison was. He certainly has all the love and attention that he could possibly crave from the coaching. I mean, Freeman glows about this kid, should have been a captain. All right. That's Freeman's words. Should have been a captain. Notre Dame doesn't put, underclassmen as captains. So sophomores, sorry. But Leonard Moore's going to be that guy. Going to be that dude. So, I mean, there's a lot of new faces. New, in quotes. Basically, faces that we just didn't get to see enough of last year. Junior Tui Alamaka, Jason Onye, Jared Dawson, Gabe Rubio, Burnham Heinisch, Bryce Young back. Blocked punts are fun too, by the way. Bryce Young, more blocked punts, please. But I mean, the depth of the defense was just insane last year. That is a chief reason as to why Notre Dame was the national runner-up. How they made it that far. And all those guys, every week it was somebody new who was just my turn to have the spotlight. Cool. All right. Sweet. So yeah, I feel like the country's sleeping on this team overall. They just see the quarterback battle, it's either going to be a sophomore who hasn't started or a redshirt freshman who hasn't started. Oh, Notre Dame's not going to be the same team anymore. Well, no, of course not. Duh. That said, Clemson? Why are you putting Clemson ahead? Why are you putting Penn? Why is the AP giving Penn State that much love? Have they not learned that James Franklin is a fraud? He'll get you, get you the Big Ten championship game and all that, and into the playoff, and get you into the among the final 14 and whatnot. It's like, and that's about it. Apparently, everybody thinks that this is James Franklin's year. No. No. Like, I don't get it. Don't get it one bit. So, how's the field going to hold up? I have no idea. I don't even know how the weather's going to be. Like, it's like a 75% chance of rain like all weekend and for like the next month and a half straight still in South Florida, because that's just how South Florida is. It just rains, and it just rains suddenly. So it could be another kind of hydroplane kind of game at some point. It could be. Could also wind up being definitely muddy. There's a game there the day before on Saturday. So it's already going to be a little chopped up. Probably going to be a little bit muddy anyway. Probably. But hydroplaning, there's what we have to look for. God, I hope not. God, I hate watching games like that. Like it's fun. Oh, there's a fun, who can hang on to the ball and all that stuff. But after the fourth time that it happens, it just gets old. It's like, maybe we take a look at the radar here first, before we go back out here on this first down play. I know that's football weather, but I mean, this is a game that people are going to be talking about later in the season. Like when the CFP rankings start coming out, they're still going to be talking about this game. And they're still going to be talking about it, what this game has meant to that point in the season for Notre Dame, what it's meant to Miami. If Miami makes it that far. Like, I'm not totally sold on Miami, quite honestly. Miami lost a lot. We still don't really know that Carson Beck's going to be, Carson Beck. So, yeah, I'm not sold on Penn State, not sold on Clemson, not sold on Miami. There's my hat trick as far as teams not to trust this year. Anybody else on the schedule like that? Okay, let me see. A&M might be better than advertised. I still don't think they're like going to contend for an SEC title though. Arkansas, nah. What the hell happened to Boise State last night? 34-7 loss by Boise State last night. What the hell? Somebody definitely took a bath on that. Somebody had to have taken a bath on that game. Then again, maybe we're thinking 25, is kind of overrated now. Anyway, yeah. Speaking of taking baths, picks to come. Next, actually. We'll get into those next. Going to go through the whole slate of top 25 games. And it's still going to feel a little bit short, and there's a really good reason why. And it'll probably make me rant again and throw everything off course, like I typically do. That is next. Leprechaun Lunch on Sports Radio WSBT. coming up to the finish line here on Leprechaun Lunch, the season opener. Sports Radio WSBT. Is there anybody who says his name more enthusiastically than Aaron May of WSBT 22? I don't think so. He's excited. He's really excited. Here we go. New year. Hopefully better picks. I kind of limped to the barn as far as the end of the season went last season. Through the offseason, by the way, it hasn't gotten much better, so this is going to be an adventure. As always, I am not a professional. Do not take my advice as, something that you should be doing at all. There's really no addendum to that. So let's just do this. Okay. As far as regionally goes, Old Dominion at number 20, Indiana. Speaking of coaching frauds, Kurt Signetti. IU a 23.5 point favorite. This game going to be on FS1 at 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. Old Dominion quarterback Colton Joseph, 22 touchdowns, 11 rushing, 11 passing, and 8 starts last season. They're strong on both lines. They may not have the size that IU does, but they'll be able to hang for a little bit anyway. Don't forget, ODU almost upset South Carolina last year in the opener. Almost. It was hairy. 23-19. Well, I don't think it's going to be that close. I think ODU stays within that big 23.5 point number. And a big part of that is, as I mentioned before, Kurt Signetti being coaching fraud too. So, Old Dominion on the points on that one. New Mexico at Michigan. I think Michigan, I don't think New Mexico is going to hang, inside that big number like Old Dominion is. All right. Michigan by 34.5 on that. 7:30 game on NBC and Peacock. So that's as far as the Big Ten goes in the top 25. Oh yeah, also Ohio State. Duh. Number 1 Texas at number 3 Ohio State. Am I still able to make bets on the leg wrestling match between Dave Portnoy and Lee Corso yet? Are they still taking bets on that? We'll see. Have to check that out afterward. Arch Manning making his first road start, all behind an offensive line that is completely redone from last year. It's not like that offensive line was all that great last year either. Julian Sayin making his first start, period. See? It's not just Notre Dame. I think Steve Sarkisian, I think Brian Hartline, the offensive coordinator for Ohio State, they're going to be keeping the quarterbacks out of trouble, especially in the first half. I think it's going to be a real conservative pass offense all over the country tomorrow, really. The Longhorns, though, have a defense. They might have the number 1 defense in the country. They might have the number 1 player in the country in Caleb Downs. They've got 3 All-American defenders on that number 1 defense, too. At the very least, this stays under 46.5. So, under 46.5 on it. Take the. I think we're gonna come in comfortably under. Noon on Fox, which Ohio State fans just love. Syracuse is at number 24. Tennessee. Tennessee. Noon ABC time. New quarterbacks for both Syracuse and Tennessee. Nico, you say his last name, transferring out to UCLA because he wasn't getting paid enough. Get used to that becoming a more common storyline. Syracuse sophomore quarterback Ricky Collins starting his first game. Senior transfer Joey Aguilar spent the last two years starting for Appalachian State before transferring to UCLA and then to Tennessee. Syracuse won 10 games last year. 10-game winner, Syracuse, last year. Why are they not ranked? Because they lost pretty much for everyone. Only one starter returns on offense. That's the left tackle. 3 starters return on defense. Oof. Rebuild. Tennessee returns 12 starters from the team that made the college football playoff, and then, as Tennessee is wont to do, bowed out in a flaming ball. There's also a pretty wide gap between ACC and SEC pay, level of play, level of talent. Syracuse, for being a 10-win team last year, still in that bottom tier in the ACC. Tennessee up there for the SEC. All right, that's almost all you need to know. I think Tennessee, 13.5-point favorite, taking the points there. The fraud. The fraud. Chief number 1 fraud, James Franklin. Number 2, Penn State hosting Nevada tomorrow on CBS at 3:30. Does CBS miss the SEC, by the way? I wonder. The Wolfpack led the country in 1-score losses last year with 6. Otherwise, they probably would have ended it with a bowl game. But 6 1-score losses. One of those losses came amid a fourth-quarter collapse in the season opener as a 4-touchdown underdog against an SMU club. Yeah, they made the CFP too. Penn State coming off that Final Four season. Drew Allar's a Heisman Trophy candidate, deservedly so. But you know what's going to keep him from winning the Heisman Trophy? That's right, you guessed it, James Franklin. Nevada's a 43.5-point underdog. I'm not thinking that, James Franklin is that big of a fraud that Nevada's going to pull this upset. Nevada stays within that 43.5 points, though. Marshall at Georgia. Ugh. Marshall's going to be bad. They're going to be really bad. They return only 16 lettermen, 4 starters. Charles Huff took nearly 20 players with him to Southern Miss. They're at number 5, Georgia. I think the Dogs call this off in the fourth quarter, before they get to 52-0 possibly, which gives us the under of 53.5. That's at 3:30 on ESPN. Number 8, Alabama, 13.5-point favorite at Florida State. Take Bama. 3:30 on ABC. UTSA at number 19, Texas A&M, who you'll see in a couple of weeks here. That's going to go over. UTSA has like one of those offenses, but absolutely no defense. Like I don't even think they field like a full 11 on defense. It's that bad. 7 p.m. on ESPN there. Take the over in that game. Number 9, LSU at number 4, Clemson. Believe it or not, I'm actually kind of high on LSU long term. But right now, it's a team with 4 new starters on its offensive line going up against a great defensive front. Just is. On the other side, though, when was the last time Clemson's offense looked impressive against an SEC team? Under on this game. 57.5 is the point total on this game. Under 7:30 on ABC on Saturday night. Georgia Tech at Ole Miss. Ole Miss in the points, 34.5. Virginia Tech, I think, at number 13, South Carolina. I think they stay within that 7.5. I think that game's going to be a lot more interesting than a lot of people think. There's no home field advantage for South Carolina. It's being played in Atlanta. So, I mean, I think that's going to be closer to 6 points, quite honestly. 7.5 point gap. Take Virginia Tech and the points. And then Notre Dame at Miami. I think we figured out that I'm pretty low on Miami. That includes this week. They lost its top 5 receivers. They lost their quarterback. I'm still not sold on Carson Beck being anywhere near what he was. Still. And oh, by the way, Jeremiah Love. I mean, Janarian Price it could be like 1B in the country. That's a 2.5 point game, by the way. Notre Dame, the favorite. I'm taking Notre Dame and the points as well. So I think that's going to be more like a touchdown victory. Can anybody answer one question for me? How are people calling this the best week 1 ever if we have 8 FCS versus FBS matchups? 8. And it's not like it's just the SEC either. It's really not. Big 10, Big 12, ACC, they're all getting in on that action too. Blah. Enjoy. College football full on back. Like there were 5 games last week. One of them we couldn't even tell where on the field it was being played, but some actual good games to watch. Enjoy them. And see you Sunday. Our coverage on game day gets underway at 3:00 on Sunday, so join us for that. Tim Growl joining me. Eric Hansen also joining us. We're going 3.5 hours on game day now. So Eric Hansen from Blue and Gold Illustrated is going to join us. Tyler Horka is going to join us from Miami as well. So that's going to be a damn fine time. Damn fine. Like I said, see you then. We'll get into Colin Cowherd coming up here.